Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are live now on Facebook. So it's Tuesday. What's the date today? The date is the 8th of December 2020. The 8th of December. When did that happen? So yeah, what an amazing year we've had. It's been kooky in all sorts of ways, but it's been incredible for the girls in the Goddess Calls books. We built a sisterhood like no other, and it's just got bigger and bigger and bigger and global and global and global. And if we had other planets to expand to, I think we'd do that. And today, I'd like to introduce you to a fairy. She's a fairy, but a galactic being fairy. I've known this beautiful goddess for quite a few years, and I've watched her grow. She's an incredible intuitive, and her name is Nichola Drew. Welcome, Nichola Drew.
Thank you very much.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm good.
You look very beautiful today.
Thank you.
Stunning,
this is what I look like when I put makeup on.
You look amazing. So thank you for coming on and doing this interview with us. So Nichola is in When the Goddess Calls Volume 4. Okay, she is a superstar. So how beautiful. Fairy all over, isn't she? She's got the energy of fairy, she's got the energy of galactic being, she's got fairy energy of the goddess. I mean, is she even human? No, her cup, goddess. Is she even human? I think not. So Nichola Drew is a full-time mum to two beautiful boys, and they are really beautiful, both whom are light workers in their own right. I can tell you they are. She has big dreams, and one day living by the beach and owning her own healing rooms. Hear you, sister. I'm hearing you. It's a beautiful thing to do. I'm already there. It's incredible. But the journey, Nichola, the journey getting there is what counts. So Nichola is trying to build her spiritual business. Nichola is building her spiritual business around being a mum. It has taken her a long time to get where she is, but the journey has been worthwhile. As with our angelic Reiki and theta healing, she wouldn't be the healer and the medium she is today. Nichola tried to do everything in her life of her children's well-being and happiness, and at the forefront of her mind, she wants to show them that they can be anything they want to be in their life, and they don't settle for anything less than their dreams. The corporate world of work has never been for Nichola, and she knew this from an early age, from working in a bank to working in offices. She felt the corporate world drain the life from her soul, and she knew there was more to life than being an administrator. This deep knowing and longing has always been the driving force behind her building her healing business. And one day she knows she'll be able to support her family financially while doing this. While doing what she's been put to do here, which is to heal, to guide, to teach others and how to live their best and most amazing life, free from limited beliefs, filled with love and power of the angels and the Creator. Nichola is a natural born medium and clairvoyant, and from a long line of ancestors who were gypsies and witches. Oh, I love this, Nichola. She reads the tarot and angel cards. She's an angelic Reiki master. She's a theta practitioner, amongst many other things. Her goal is to eventually be able to help and guide other mums of highly sensitive children, to help them to understand them and how they see the world with the support of crystals and essential oils. We love our essential oils and how incredible they are for our children. We know that. She would never be a healer she is today if it hadn't been for becoming a mum. And she wants to be able to help and support other parents in order to become the best emotionally supportive parents they can be for their little light workers. So Nichola, that's an amazing bio. So you said it again and again and again, you know, you're doing this for yourself, but you know, it's for your children because they're highly sensitive. And I have to say, are all the children that are being born now, and especially little boys. So little boys are born, their immune system is born slightly weaker than girls. And that's why when they have the injections, you'll see more of more boys having an effect from these. I have to be very careful what I say, because there's always someone that just doesn't get it. But that has an effect from these vaccinations. And when you breastfeed a child, their immune system becomes really strong. So the vaccinations are not so intense, because the immune system goes boom. But there is, and we can't deny it, there is more and more light workers being born on this planet to lift the vibration and to raise the vibration. And your two beautiful boys are incredibly sensitive, but very intuitive. They have a mum that's intuitive. So what is your vision, Nichola, with children? And I mean, it's incredible what I mean, I've spoken to, it's incredible. So what is it?
I think I didn't really realise actually how sensitive children are until I actually had children myself. And I think they have been my biggest blessing and my biggest lesson. They have massively taught me more about who I am as a person than anything ever really has. And I think my major thing is just getting more parents to be more understanding of their energies, how things affect them. And it's funny you actually mentioned the injections thing, because I was actually having this conversation just last night with my partner about vaccines and about like what happens with their immune systems and their reactions. And I'm massively more aware and doing more research about all this stuff before I ever embark on anything. And I'm much more into doing things the natural way and investigating the natural side of things before I do or select anything else. And like, especially with my oldest, after his first injection, he was fine up until he had his first injection. And then he was just covered from head to foot in the most horrific infected eczema you've ever seen in your life.
Wow.
And then for the next 9 months, he just screamed and screamed and screamed. And I massively went through my dark night of the soul during this part. And I remember sitting there one night and he was screaming. And I was sitting there thinking, I can't do this anymore. I can't be here anymore. I can't cope with this. I don't know what to do. And that's when I kind of kick-started my journey into researching highly sensitive children and what affects them and how to take care of them better and how to look after their energy and how to protect them. And it's when I found this lady online, she ran like a group online. And I was like, wow, there's this whole world of mums out there that have highly sensitive kids that are looking for exactly the same thing I'm looking for. And I kind of found my first tribe as such, like of other mums who were using essential oils, crystals, energy work, looking into things like setting protection and how to set protection, and then what other things could be affecting them, what's affecting their gut. How is it affecting their gut? And it just opened up this whole world that I didn't even know existed, that I had no idea I had access to. And it wasn't until I had access to that information that I started to implement it and use it, and I started to really see my son in a totally different light.
Wow.
And I was sat there one night and he was screaming and crying and wouldn't settle, and was thinking, something's not right. This is not just reflux. This is something else. And that's when I sort of said, like, right, I think he's got a cow's milk allergy. I think he's got a cow's milk allergy. So I thought, oh my God, he's allergic to dairy. So I eventually worked out he was allergic to dairy, gluten, and nuts. And then when I went back and did my research on the very first vaccination he'd ever been given, they contained all of those things.
Oh my God.
And I was like, okay, this is a massive lesson, massive lesson. So my son had basically been given everything his immune system could not tolerate. And it was coming out in his skin. And that's the first time I discovered flower essences. And there was a lady who actually sent me a flower essence, which was like a anti-vaccine thing, which is meant to repair the crystals. The crystals in the energy system. And after giving this to him for maybe 3 weeks, His skin started to clear up.
Oh,
He started to stop screaming. He was getting better. And it was like I could just see this little light beginning to switch on in him. And he was starting to shine. And I was like, wow, okay, there is something in all of this. And
yeah.
even after being an angelic Reiki master,
Uh-huh.
I don't think the penny really fully dropped with how precious and how sensitive we all are as physical beings until I had that experience. And
Yeah.
100% feel like he came to me for me to have that experience so that I could see this whole
Wow.
new world and look at ways of, you know, how do I help others? How can I help others? What can I do to help support other mums that are struggling like this?
Mm.
And it's taken me, he's 4 now, so it's taken me about 4 years to finally sort of get to this point. And I know it's not, it's just, it's got a whole long way to go, but it's
So it's incredible, you know, and yes, he has been brought to you and he's a beautiful boy. And, you know, I mean, you take your flower essences from the Fae healers anyway, from Jan and Julie Remedies, but it's just, I mean, it must be heartbreaking for it to be your own child, knowing that. I mean, there's so many of us waking up. I've been awake for years, so have you. When people are waking up now with the, thank God we have social media that's able to help people. You know, and we're able to wake up and we're able to see truth. All right, and for you to, I mean, there are many parents that haven't woken up yet and they don't understand, and you are an amazing light bringer to be able to help other people and say, look, you know what, you what you're being told is, you know, you and I know, and so does many people who are watching this, it's a big, you know, the pharmaceutical companies and the banks actually run the country and not the governments, because it's money making, isn't it? And I'm quite open to say that because I speak my truth. But until everybody wakes up, someone like you, and you, not someone like you are out there talking about this, explaining this to parents. You know, you are an incredible medium, you are an incredible psychic, so you're able to see the truth, and you're able to tell people the truth, you know. And what is it that you want to create for the future to do with this? How are you going to help other people?
so this is something that I've always really struggled with, is actually finding my final vision, and that's something that you know better than anybody, like, about
Mm-hmm.
me. I think I'm finally starting to put all the little puzzle pieces together, and I've always kind of dipped into things and picked up on this and, oh, I like that, and I'm gonna have a go at that. But I think now I've started my theta journey.
Mm-hmm.
Theta has been the biggest change in my life compared to
Mm-hmm.
anything that I've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
And I can now see, I actually put a post up about it this morning in my group about not just like what's going on with their bodies energetically, but also their beliefs and the things they're putting into them.
Yeah.
And I didn't really realize how much of an impact my words and my actions had been having on my children until quite recently. And now that's one of my biggest goals, is to get parents to realize that what the way you speak to yourself and the way you speak to your children, and even the way you speak to others and treat others in front of your children, has a massive impact on them, because
Yeah.
they're such little sponges. And
Mm-hmm.
you think they're not listening, they are listening. They
Mm-hmm.
pick up absolutely everything. They pick up your energy, everything. And I don't think people really fully grasp that concept. And it's even like, I think one of the biggest experiences I had was when I was in hospital just after having my youngest, and I'd had another cesarean. I was in so much pain. And because I'm very conscious of painkillers and what I take and what I put in my body, I had to be quite careful with what I was taking, because I had to try and nurture and take care of my new
Of
tiny
course.
human.
Yes.
And I was in so much pain, and I sat there holding my youngest, and my biggest came to meet him for the first time. And he climbed up on the bed and he sat next to me, and I was like, oh my God, I'm not in pain anymore.
Wow.
I can't feel the pain. Like, why am I not in pain anymore? And he was sat there and he had his head on my chest and he was holding me. And I was thinking, the only way that I cannot be in pain is from him. Like, why? Where is this gone? And I was in such shock. I was like, wow, oh my God, okay, he's such a little healer. And that's when it really sort of struck me how sensitive he really is. And even this morning, he was having a little meltdown, and I was just telling you a moment ago about his little meltdown. And I got out the tuning fork, and I said to him, like, we're going to play with this, and we have a little play with that. And he was putting it near his ear, and he was going, oh, I like this, Mummy. Oh, I like this. And the meltdown stopped. And he gave me a hug, and he went, it's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. And I was like, how did you know I was feeling a bit wobbly myself? How did he know I was feeling a bit anxious? And it's just, I think my biggest thing is to try and teach people and to get them to be more aware of what they say and what they do with their kids. And then we can grow this amazing next generation of healers and sensitive children that are aware of what they say and what they do and how it has an impact on the world. And I think one of the biggest things is mainly when you go to places like soft plays, that's when you really start to realise how disconnected parents are from their kids. And how we're all sitting there, we're looking at our phones and we're doing this, and then the kids go, Mummy, 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 and you're going, yeah, in a minute. And it's like you're putting something else before interacting with your child. And what's that teaching them? What's that teaching about their self-worth? You know, that's teaching them that I'm not worth being listened to. I'm not worth being heard. You know, that forms all of these little fortunes and these little beliefs. And I'm really starting to see that come out in my oldest now. And I'm having to sit there and go, what can I do to connect with him? How do I connect with him better? Oh, put down the phone. Okay, I've put down the phone. Right, what does he need from me? He needs me to play with him. Right, I'm going to get on the floor and I'm going to play with him. I'm going to connect with him. I'm going to interact with him. And I think the thing I'm finding the most hardest at the moment is when you go into the soft plays is you're having to wear a face mask.
Really?
You have to wear a face mask when you're on the equipment. Now, one thing I was always taught when I first had my children is they learn by your mouth, what you're doing with your mouth, you're smiling, you're speaking, your facial features, and I can't do that anymore because we're sat there and we're playing and I'm thinking, can't see me laughing, can't see me smiling at him, can't see me interacting with him. And that's I think one of the biggest things that I'm really struggling with at the moment is because I'm so interactive with the boys, and my youngest actually comes up to me and pulls it off your face. He'll pull the mask off your face.
Yeah, and listening to you it really brings it back home. It's sort of like, all of that's resonated with me. And, you know, I'm a mum and we're all guilty of not giving that attention to the child, you know. And we can all be like, I can look back and say, I wish that I could go back and did things differently, you know. But it's wonderful that you recognize it now, that you recognize it where the babies are still small, because they're baby. I mean, I have a daughter that's 28 and she's still a baby to me. You know, they're always going to be your babies. But it's good that you recognize it now so that you're able to help these children so that they don't have to go into healing when they get older and start to clear all their beliefs and their unworthiness. And because that's you know, that's one of the hardest things to clear is the unworthiness. In theatre, you can dig around and you can find it, but sometimes it's just there and you've got to go really deep. And that comes from, I know my unworthiness came from a situation that happened when I was 4 years old. And it wasn't actually happening to me, it was something I witnessed with people that I loved. And yeah, and we did so many sessions on that just to get that. So to prevent is better than cure.
Yeah. And I think the one thing that I've really noticed is, even though I'm trying to live my own life
Of
and
course.
I'm trying to be a mum, I'm trying to build a business, I go to work, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do, you don't realise how much things impact your kids. Like recently, myself and my partner split up.
Yeah.
And we went through quite a bit of just a bad patch, and it happened twice. We split up once and then it happened again. And now, the second time, when he came back, every time he got up and left the room, my eldest
Oh,
went, "Don't leave me. Daddy, don't leave me. Don't come back. Please come back." And I was like, "Wow, okay." And that really hit me. And then he started doing it to me. "Mummy, where are you going?" "I'm just going to the toilet." "Can I come with you?" "Well,
wow.
no, I want to have 5 minutes of peace and quiet. You know, I want to have a wee in peace."
Yeah.
But the anxieties that then started to bring up in the kids, and I was seeing it. And then when, luckily, with this second lockdown, obviously they
Yes.
left the schools open. And that was my biggest thing, was, oh my God, are they going to shut the schools again? This is going to be impacting so much if they shut it. And luckily they kept it open. And his school are just sensational. They understand kids on just such a different level. And it's so nice and refreshing to meet educational workers who actually see
Brilliant.
the impact that this has had on children.
Yeah.
And they called me in and they said, "Look, you know, we're a little bit worried about some of his behaviour, his anxiety, blah, blah, blah. What can we do to support him? How can we help him?" And I actually sat and looked at her and I was like, "I would give you a hug, but I know we're not allowed to do that right now." I was like, but it's so nice to finally see some people waking up and realizing the impact that outside influences have on our children.
Of
And
course.
they know I'm into all of this, and they know that I do angelic reiki and I love oils and crystals. And I think when they first met me, I think they thought I was a bit mental or a bit out there. But
so and that you touched on that again. The effect of everything that's gone over the last year has affected the children, because you know, from 0 till 7, that is their core level, and everything they learn actually becomes who they are. So yeah, they're learning fear.
And even my little boy said to me the other day, and I mean, we don't use the word naughty, I don't like it, we use the word cheeky, or "you're being a bit cheeky," you know. And he went to me, "I'm such a naughty boy. I'm such a naughty boy." And I was like, "Where have you picked this up from?
Wow.
Like, where have you got that from?" And he's still, "so and so at school said it." So I was like, okay, so my child has now formed a belief about himself based
Being
on a
naughty.
belief that another child has about themselves. So I said to him, the next time your friend says, "I'm naughty," I want you to say to him, "You're not naughty, I love you." And he came home and he went, "I told everybody I loved them today, Mummy, and I gave everyone big kisses and big cuddles, and I just want them to go out into the world and feel like they have the tools and what it takes to, number one, succeed in life, love themselves, and be able to show others how to love themselves and to lead by example, and to know this little box that everybody wants us to fit in, they do not have to get in that box."
There is no box.
Well,
society has created a box that there is no box.
Yeah,
Stop trying to fit in a fake box, isn't it? Really, that's the moral of the story. There is no box.
Yeah.
You can be whatever you want to be.
That. That's why I think it's focusing on that, just being that successful person and helping other people and leading by example, and forming my healing business, so that one day if they turn around and say to me, "Mummy, do you know what? I can see spirits and I can hear things,"
which they will,
and they already do.
Yeah.
My oldest definitely does, and I just want them to be able to go, "Do you know what? I don't want to work in an office, or I don't want to do this, or I would like to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to be successful, and I'm going to live my best life." Because I don't want them to have to undo years of crap and stuff that doesn't belong to them.
And they won't, because they've got you as a mum, and you're an incredible mother, and you lead with pure light. So Nichola, it's been an amazing interview with you. You are a goddess, you are a fairy, you are a unicorn, you are a galactic being. Read Nicola's story. It is in When the Goddess Calls Volume 4. It is really amazing. She is amazing. And yeah, jump on, follow her on her groups, follow her. She does her readings, jump in. And thank you, Nichola, for your interview. Take care. Take care. Bye-bye.